First of all, does everyone have their annual report? How many of you got one of these, by the way? At least a few of you? Okay, good. Well, if you were to turn in your annual report, well, let me just get started. The first thing I want to do is get the business part of the speech taken care of right away. My job as treasurer is to serve as the ALM committee chairman. That's the Asset, Liability, and Management Committee. And by the way, Keith, which, just so that y'all don't think that he was just being himself for y'all, he does the same thing to us in the boardroom. He uses terms that you're supposed to already know. So when he was talking about ROA, that's return on assets. That's a really important number because it tells us how much money we are making with all of the money that you've given us, trusted to us, to be able to provide the services that you get. It's been an incredibly exciting year for InvesTex Credit Union. 2013 was beyond a great year because we expanded our membership, like Keith talked about. We grew our assets and we increased the services and branches for every single member. But as strange as it might sound, I kind of hope you didn't even notice that. And you know, that may seem like an odd thing to say, but I hope you didn't feel a bump whatsoever when we melded in that $52 million credit union and when we saw our assets jump close to $175 million. I hope you didn't notice anything as our membership grew by 20%, because that would mean that our staff was doing their jobs. They were doing their jobs with you in mind. It would mean that the same face that greeted you before the merger and they were there every time you came in, that same face was still smiling when you came to secure a new car loan or raid your Christmas account. It would mean that we as an organization had not lost our focus on you. And you've already heard Keith talk a little bit about that. It really is about you. My wife was telling me that this speech is not supposed to be about me, so you're going to have to put up with a little bit about me here in a few minutes, but the credit union is about you. Those of you, I'm going to step off for just a second. Oh, what do I need to do to it? Oh, take this one? Take them both. Okay. This is trickier than I anticipated. Maybe I shouldn't move around so much. Now I've already forgotten what I was going to tell you anyway. Okay, next time I'll know. There really was something I was going to talk about. Oh, I know what it was. Many of you that have attended these meetings before have started anticipating this part of the program. All of those that recognize this is true. I'm not appearing at any comedy club this year. Never have. But what I have done the last few times, and so I don't want to disappoint you, is I have worn a tie and then I relate the tie to the story. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This year, I'm relating something other than a tie. But just so that you see the tie, I've got a tie here that really works for InvesTex Credit Union because it is our colors, it is our logo in essence, red and blue and a star, and it's a nice tie. And I'm going to talk a little bit later, a little bit about patriotism, but that's not the focus. So I wanted you to know that I did think about my tie, even though that's not going to be the key to tonight's topic. Okay. Got that out of the way. All right, back to you. You're a credit union, and you should note that that is for whom the credit union exists. You. We are constantly looking for ways to serve you better. I asked you a while ago if you had your treasurer's report. You read the treasurer's report, right? I know you couldn't put it down once you started. It is a real page turner. Oh wait, it's only one page, thank goodness. In the report, though, you should have noted that our next location, we plan to have that up and running by next spring or summer at the latest. So summer of 2015, we're going to have another location. And that 1960 location is going to provide more than just another place for current members to conduct their business. It will open the door to literally thousands of other potential members to join us. It will be, unquestionably, our most visible branch in the entire network. It'll be right on 1960. It will be very impressive, and it will make you proud of your membership in this organization and where we're headed. I'm ready for the slideshow. I need to step back and tell you, though, that this has been an incredibly exciting year in my life, too. Either button? That button. I recently retired after 36 years of service to Humble ISD. That is Charles Bender High School. It was actually Charles Bender Intermediate when I went there, so technically you could say I gave 48 years of service to Humble ISD. Because I went to school there and then came home to teach. The reason I mentioned that I retired recently, and it was in January, is I'm starting a second career now in the property and casualty insurance business. So if y'all would please see me after the meeting for a free quote on your car and home, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding about the insurance, but I don't want you to meet me for a free quote. I wanted you to see what Humble used to look like. That used to be the whole thing. Now we've got 6 high schools, and Aldine went through the same thing. We've all grown and grown and grown, a lot like the credit union. So I've gone through this experience of retirement. Okay. I also had the very humbling experience of learning that all of the instruction that I have spent my entire life giving my children about financial planning didn't mean a damn thing to my daughters. Sorry for the cursing. The reason I can say that is both of them, you will notice, are holding up ring fingers. They both announced their engagement after my wife and I announced our retirements. Now you understand the second career. I really thought I had done better than that. Using up some vacation before I retired, I got to go on the trip of a lifetime with my wife, who's here with us tonight, my sister and her fiance. Anybody recognize that place? My wife remembers. That would be Shanghai. That would be the Great Wall of China. I heard somebody a while ago in the food line talking about coming back from China. Who was that? You just came back from China. And you're thinking to yourself, is Mr. Griffin going to show us the 2,000 slides that he took in China? No, there's just one more. Anybody read that for me? It is a Chinese credit union. I snapped this photo of a credit union and I realized that this cooperative movement that we're all a part of is a worldwide force. I think historically it started in Germany, right? So, we didn't come up with this idea of working together to strengthen our communities by sharing the risks and the rewards, but it has made it around the world. I had to stop the tour guide and say, wait, I got to take a picture of this because I'm going to show this to those people at the annual meeting. I do have thousands of more photos if you'd like to watch them. No takers, okay. All of this is to say that each of us is where we are through the countless people, places, and experiences we've been exposed to on our own journeys. The students that we recognized here tonight and awarded scholarships, they're going to go on to successful careers and lives because of the things they've learned and the compasses that have been set for them within their own internal guidance and the external guidance that all of the people that they come into contact with affect them. You know, in the old days, I'm sure there are many young people here that have no idea what I'm about to talk about, but we played pinball, not video games. And pinball is exactly how your life works. You get launched, and then you spend the rest of the time bouncing off of things. And sometimes you bounce off something and it scores points. And sometimes you tilt the machine and you go right down the chute, you know? But everything that happens is part of the process of creating who you are, where you are. I am personally very pleased that the InvesTex Credit Union has even the tiniest of roles in the future of the 6 people that we gave money to tonight to further their education. It is the most important thing. Hopefully, they'll want to stay a part of our organization. As they grow into full adulthood, they'll need a debit card for sure, and maybe a car loan before they get too far gone, and someday maybe even a home mortgage. And I hope they come home to get those things, because those dollars that they repay will help fund the next generation's scholarships. That's the way it works. That's what being a part of a credit union is all about. Our little tagline, and it's not our official moniker, which is making lives better since 1952, but our little tagline says, investing in Texas by investing in you. It's not just advertising fluff. Specifically to those 5 of you that are here tonight, we expect some return on our investment. We expect you to make a difference in Texas and in your own community, and who knows, someday in this credit union. It's a heartfelt statement about our commitment to making lives better. I brought a few visual aids to make my point about how we pass through our lives bouncing off one event or person after another, and how they change our trajectory. This is a collection, This is a collection of lapel pins. Some folks might call them hat pins or collector pins. I wore a bunch of them on my ID badge lanyard. You know, it was quite hazardous sometimes, you know, get one of those stars into your neck or something. It was tough. I have a whole collection here of Humble ISD service pins. If you'll look closely, and I realize it's not a huge picture, but there's a 5-year, a 10-year, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. It's an auction all of a sudden. I spent 36 years in one place. I didn't just do one job, but I stayed in one place. And those pins helped me remember what was going on all along. There's a campus pin there as well, AMS. That's where I spent the most time teaching 6th graders. That's probably why I'm good at winging it. You have to be able to do that with 6th graders. They remind me of all the great teachers and students I worked with during my first 18 years. The next picture is ATPE. Anybody in here a member of ATPE? Okay. ATPE is a teacher professional organization. It's been around about 30 years, and I've been a member almost since the very beginning. It's the biggest teacher organization in the state, 180,000 members. I went to countless trainings and seminars that provided another influence on me and my work life. It was part of the bouncing and the interaction that caused me to become the person I am. The next one doesn't have very many pins. After I left the classroom, I went into the business office. I was in the finance division for 10 years. Business people don't collect pins, I guess. They're too serious. That's probably the reason I didn't stay in the business office. But for 10 years, I learned a great deal about state funding and budgeting and managing the purchasing process. And I learned from leaders in finance from all over the state while attending TASBO conventions. Earned my RTSBA, which is a Registered Texas School Business Administrator certificate. Go ahead. I shifted again, this time to support services side of school business, and I worked for 7 years in transportation. Here I joined yet another organization to guide me in learning all I needed to know about school buses. You can see pins from Texas Association of Pupil Transportation Conferences and from vendors who supported those conferences. TAPT was a great asset to me, and now I teach classes at their annual summer conference, hopefully paying back some of what they gave me. One more influence on how Alan Griffin became the Alan Griffin he is. Go ahead to the next one. Here are some pins from the Association of Water Board Directors. I know y'all are all excited about that one. I serve on the board of directors of Montgomery County Municipal Utility District number 24, and I've done that for about 30 years as well. I know more about processing sewage and providing water because of my involvement with AWBD. Insert your own joke about my speech and processing sewage here, okay? The next one. This is a collection of pins. I have a bunch of patriotic pins. My father served in World War II. He was on Iwo Jima. You can see the famous statue there. When I was a teacher, I would escort student groups to Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia every year, and I would collect pins and try to bump into those students about government and about freedom. I'm not going to let you look at the next one very long because you'll figure out way more about me than you want to know. But it has pins, go ahead, pins of clubs I've joined, issue-based groups, and political organizations, as well as public service associations. And I collected all of those with a hope that my involvement might be making a difference. You can see there are many losers up there, the Astros in particular. I still support them. That's my point. You don't have to win to support something. Go ahead. And then there's this pin. I am truly honored to have been allowed the privilege of serving on this board. I am confident the work that we do has an impact on more lives than any other thing I've done, with the exception of teaching. You know, we never know how those interactions with others change their lives' paths. But we all need to do our best to make those collisions positive. It's really pretty simple. Try to make a positive difference. That's exactly what InvesTex Credit Union does every day. It's what we're all about. Let's make a positive difference together as we move into 2014 and continue to grow. Thank you very much.